On November 13th, AD 354, Aurelius Augustine is born in Tagaste to a Christian mother and pagan father, both being Berbers. After living a life of privileged education where he hung around a group of fornicators who influenced him into the same and fathered a son by his longtime pagan girlfriend in AD 372, he becomes a priest in AD 385. Being a brilliant student who never masters and refuses to learn Greek, even while being beaten by his teacher, Augustine becomes well versed in Latin. After moving to Carthage, Augustine moves to Rome, where he falls into a cult. After becoming skeptical of this cult, after not being allowed to meet the leader, he leaves to go to Milan. It is here that his mother's prayers, the urgency of his friend Sibylican, and his philosophical studies that Augustine becomes a Christian. On February 27th, AD 380, Augustus Theodosius I outlaws all religions except for the church. It is around this time that the bishop Ambrose of Milan supercharges Augustine to walk in the way of the Messiah. Soon he begins an ever overarching ministry. He teaches about the theology of the unity of the human body and human soul, and that creation as having come into existence simultaneously and not over the period of 6 days, which to him seems to be a logical framework and bearing spiritual meaning. Besides these, the church is divided into the institutional form, which administers the sacraments and consists of laity and clergy, and the spiritual form, those who have passed into heaven, and the soul condition of each believer. This teaching renders into the branches of eschatology or end of time studies, theological nature of the Virgin, and the original sin being a result of pride and foolishness, and that all things that occur in the mortal world are under divine control alongside man having freedom to choose to obey or disobey. Furthermore, a major byproduct of his theology is a form of apologetics in which he holds that the Bible is either to be treated literally or metaphorically. If literally, they will be scrutinized by science and held as being metaphorically. Instead of scrutiny, each passage has a literal side, which consists of the details. It also has a metaphorical aspect, like the prophecies or visions, for example, Acts 10. As for the sacraments, these are to be performed by priests regardless of their level of holiness. Outside the church, he touches upon the science of astrology, his growth in faith, and the development of divine illumination and social matters, of a just cause for the Christians' involvement in a war, slavery, sexuality, and natural laws. Four matters which fit the sociality of the church is its interactions with the Jewish diaspora, as they are the chosen people of the divine, whereas the devout Gentiles are grafted in and not the replacement of the chosen people. The free will of the angelic forces and of humanity, the education of children and their mental and spiritual development, and defines Christian religious freedom and coercion. In spring of AD 430, the Vandals invade Roman Africa. While these Arians besiege Hippo, Augustine becomes ill yet again. While sick, he is said to have healed an ill man. By August AD 430, Augustine spends time in prayer and repentance while surrounded by Psalm 6, 31 or 32, 37 or 38, 50 or 51, 101 or 102, 129 or 130, and 142 or 143. Shortly before August 28th, AD 430, he directs that the church library in Hippo be carefully preserved. It is on the aforementioned day that Augustine has a crown of life tied upon his head. The Vandals lift the siege soon after, only to return and burn the city except for the church. On March 1st, 1244, based upon the teachings philosophies and monastic life of Bishop Augustine of Hippo, the Order of St. Augustine is established in Sanaia, Republic of Sanaia,